I'm gonna go ahead and make a video about this. So we've been talking about yoga. It just kind of came up randomly because I noticed that doing yoga during our 5-minute Pomodoro break is a really great thing. I hadn't really made the connection before, so I've been walking around and grabbing coffee in my 5-minute break, and the Pomodoro thing says 5-minute breaks, 4 of them in a row, and then on your fourth one you take a 15-minute break. But one of the greatest things to do during that break, particularly if you're a coder who sits all day, is to move your body. And one of the best ways to move your body in a way that's healthy and not overly stressful is yoga. It always has been. And one of the best ways to do yoga in that amount of time is a simple sun salutation. Really simple. And depending on how physically fit you are, you can modify this all the way up. But I wanted to talk about really, really quickly the simplest movement you can do. And I'm not going to demonstrate it. And before we get into this, I just want to say anybody who gets into anything like this needs to be aware of their own body. Do not push it, right? Just don't. Yoga is about balance, and it's not about you versus your body like how the power stuff is. It's balance. So make sure you don't push your body too far. This is just, so what are you going to get out of it? You're going to get better circulation. Your endocrine system doesn't work unless you move. It doesn't have a bloodstream, like a circulatory system. Your endocrine system requires you to move for it to work. That means, lymph and stuff like that, that's going to be moving, and all of that. So those that we're going to talk about yoga for a bit here, Angie. So that's what's up, right? The reason you want to move, the reason you want to possibly get your head below your heart is you want to get that circulation going on. If you can go to the ground, this strengthens your torso. These counter bends are really, really useful for people who slouch and sit all day. And so here's what you do. But the most important thing that you're going to do when you do this yoga break, sun salutation, is the breathing. Some people would say that yoga is just about the breathing, and that the movements are just designed to give you something to do with it. And that means long, slow breaths, usually breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. Sometimes they call it Ujjayi breathing, but it's technically not Ujjayi. That's a pedantic debate we could have another time. Just slow breathing that matches the poses. So you go in, and it's the breathing that's going to cause this to feel really good. I mean, it feels there is something to yoga high, because you oxygenate your blood, and if you've ever had straight oxygen before, it makes you feel high. It makes you feel really good. So you're mixing, so you're both promoting circulation and you're promoting oxygen uptake, and you combine those two things together, and not only do you get energy, you get a slight high from the whole thing, sort of a dopamine rush, which is awesome. If you're not getting that and it hurts too much, you're doing it wrong. So just go slow and easy and just listen, and then you'll like it. You'll start to get so addicted to it that you'll want to do it more and more and more, and eventually you'll maybe want to do a whole practice during the day, and we'll talk about that. So, but just for the break, just you do an inhale, you just exhale. If you need to, you can put a chair here or a back, something really stable. Make sure it's stable, a table or something. Don't lean on something that's not stable. I've seen and instead of going all the way to the ground, right? The important thing here is try to keep your back straight. If you're this first phase of it, you can round your back a little bit. That's okay. It's actually designed to stretch your back. But on the inhale, the design here is to straighten your back. So this one is kind of like allowing your back to hunch a little bit. Be careful, pop a disc or something. And again, listen to your body. But right here, when you straighten your back, it's like the idea is to make your back as straight as possible, and you can feel that straightness. So it's like a thread going all the way through the top of your head, all the way through your spine. And if you can go to the ground, you can go to the ground. You can put your knees on the ground, and you can either just do a simple push-up here. Sometimes when you get more advanced, you can even do a couple push-ups here and then do this, but this is hard. So lowering yourself down and holding an exhale with your arm. The key here is to make sure your arm is parallel to your spine, that the elbows don't come up here. You're not going all the way to the ground, and you're not overextended. You should have a right angle with your arm, and your arm should be, the upper part of your arm should be in line with your back. And again, you're exhaling, and you just, if you do this right, your breath will sound like the waves of the sea coming in and out. You'll be like, and it will, if you sort of, there's another thing called drishti. Drishti is what you do with your eyes, and if you do this right, it's kind of puts you into a trance. So the drishti is what you're looking at. So the drishti for this is to look at your fingers. The drishti for this is to look at the end of your nose. And that's it. What they want you to do is they want you to allow your gaze to soften, so that don't make yourself cross-eyed or go nuts, right? And then when you exhale, you can look at your nose, or you can watch your hands as you follow down. But if you do this right, you can kind of allow. Don't get too dizzy. It's really easy to let yourself like really zone out if you do more than one of these, and that's like intense. It's really intense because it's almost like a drug. I mean, it really is, because you're looking up and then you're looking down, and you're focusing on the breath and moving inward. And then when you finish it, it's almost like you're coming out of a trance. And so when you do this, when you inhale here, they want you to, it's called the third eye. They want you to try to look right here at the, as high as you can. But don't worry about what you're looking at. But the point is, try to de-emphasize what you're looking at. The point of view of this whole thing is for you to sort of try to look inward and really pay attention to your breathing, and really look at what you're breathing. If you're trying to calm your mind, think about the breath. Picture yourself with the waves matching the sound of your breath while you're doing it. You can have music if you want, but if you just listen to that, it becomes really hypnotic. And particularly if you do it more than once. If you do like 1 or 10 sun salutations, by the end of it, you're kind of in a trance. And if you watch people in India, a lot of the really dedicated people, they will do some form of this to put themselves kind of in a trance. But it's a good trance, right? It's a way to waken your mind and to turn inward and calm down, and then you come back and you work like crazy, right? Particularly if you can get comfortable enough to sit without a back. I don't touch the backrest on my chair very much usually. Sometimes I do a little bit, but most of the time I'm trying to sit straight up, and that's why I need to take a break, because it hits all my core for me to sit. I don't need a fucking bouncy ball. I can just use a chair. I would never use a bouncy ball, frankly, because I cannot sit with my legs crossed, which is the healthiest, safest way for most people to sit eventually. But you're not going to be there right off the bat. You're going to need to probably work on it to get up to it. But once you get there, it's very, very comfortable. Because once you get there, because you've got, when you sit like that with your legs, it automatically rotates your spine, so you're making perfect contact with the floor, and so you don't need all the extra support and stuff. What makes you need this support is, and by the way, if you ever noticed, your legs go like that, because why? Because modern Western chairs are putting all the pressure on our arterial, on our arteries and stuff underneath our hamstrings, which also tighten our hamstrings, and so we get really, really tight hamstrings and really shitty lower leg circulation, which is why I have a friend who had blood clots in his feet, because the way Westerners sit. So if eventually you can figure out how to sit in a way that humans have been sitting since the dawn of time, where you're just balanced. Now, you still need to stretch your legs out so that they can have circulation as well. But once you're able to sit like this, first of all, it warms your feet up. One of the things you'll notice right away is if you get cold feet, because you're a coder, I do all the time. You don't need some sort of space heater down there. Just learn to be able to, I'm kind of all over the place here, but learn to sit like this, and your feet and your legs and stuff are now closer to your core, and they are in contact with other warm parts of your body. So you're able to maintain the comfort there. But most people can't sit like I can't sit like this for more than 25 minutes because I'm Western. If I was raised in India or some places where they sit like that at school and everything, this is how they sit for like 8 hours at a time, no problem. And it's really, I could rant on that about all day. That really kind of pisses me off that Westerners have decided that for some fucking reason that it's bad for us to sit on the floor or to sit in this way, when in fact it's the most practical way to sit that humans could ever do. But we literally over, decades have had our bodies manipulated in a way that makes it almost impossible for us to sit the same way, bone structure and everything. This way, because we've been taught that this is the proper way to sit. It just makes me angry. So anyway, back to the inhale. So this is a very basic sun salutation. If you feel like you have a little bit more strength, you can do a sun A. A sun A is, see if I can find one. A sun A. Sun A or Surya Namaskar A. And this is, oh wait, this is a sun A. That was a sun A. Was I showing you a sun A? Yeah, I'm sorry, I was showing you a sun A. This is a sun A. If you can't do a sun A, there are modifications on this. I never lean my back against my chair. Sometimes I'll do this, but almost never. No, my back touches my chair, but I don't lean back on my chair almost ever. Sometimes I catch myself doing it, but most of the time I don't. Now, I still want a back on my chair because I want to be able to sometimes just veg out and relax, but in American way, I'm not so good as to start wanting to get a chair. There are chairs you can get that, here's the one I want to get. But the problem with a chair like this is you don't ever get a break. But if you have really tight legs, this is the way to go because if you pull your butt up off the ground, it makes it much easier to sit Indian style. I've thought about getting one. I don't think you need this. If I don't need it, my IKEA chair is just fine because I'm okay usually to sit. But if you're trying to sit this way, you usually have to elevate your ass until you get the flexibility. Yeah. This is why I sweat so much when I sit. You talk about getting standing desks and stuff. If you sit in your chair that you have and you suck in, if you sit with good posture, you'll get a workout. I promise you. You'll get a core workout because you're holding your body up straight. And even if you can only do one leg for a while. So anyway, but this is sun A. If you want to do a sun B, which I'm starting to do sun Bs now. Sun Bs these will tire you out, man. Like, so, how's it going? So sun Bs, sun Bs have a warrior pose in them, and I mean, you can, there's like so much stuff out there. Ardha Makha, Shavasana, mountain pose. Oops, nope. So, but yeah, I am not a fan of the bouncy ball. The reason I'm not a fan of the bouncy ball is because you're still sitting Western style. That's why. Bouncy balls, you have to have your feet on the ground or you're gonna fall the fuck over. So you're bouncing and stuff, and it's hitting your core. But you know what else hits your core? Sitting with your legs crossed on a chair, any chair, and a shitty IKEA chair, because you have to hold your body straight and hold your posture up. If you have good posture and you're sitting on a regular chair, you don't need any fucking extra bouncy ball for it. You will feel your core engage, and that's all you need. What is a bouncy ball giving you that sitting straight in a chair with no back not giving you? That you're trying to balance yourself the whole time? Well, if you're doing that, then it's I think it's a stupid Western gimmick, personally. I mean, I trust the thousands of years of knowledge behind the yoga tradition more than some fucking toy somebody from Silicon Valley decided to do. Yeah, but but just sitting straight, you already have to maintain your stability, right? I mean, if you're sitting on a bouncing ball, you're not maintaining stability because your legs are on the ground. So you have to maintain a little bit of stability, but not nearly as much as actually building, not to mention the fact that I see people on bouncy balls slouch all the time. They still slouch. If you learn to sit properly on your chair without your feet on the floor, with like, at least for a minimal amount of time with your legs Indian style, I think it's a better thing, but that's mine. Bouncy ball came from the Pilates world. Yeah, but they didn't sit on it all day. Look at what they do with it. They lay out flat on it. They have a lot of different things that they do with it besides just sitting on it for 10 hours. And it did come from Pilates. Are you talking about my reference to the other thing? Yeah, and Pilates came from yoga, right? Pilates is just the westernization of yoga. But it's really stupid because it look, if you do it, that's fine. But Pilates completely removes some of the most important parts of yoga from the whole practice. It removes the synchronicity of the breath. It removes the connection with the stuff that's around you. It's it's about getting ripped. It's not about maintaining balance with your body and everything around you. It doesn't have to be religious to be that. But that's one of the reasons it annoys me. It's like kickboxing compared to martial arts or kung fu, right? It's okay. Yeah, maybe you're a good kickboxer and you can beat the shit out of somebody. Awesome. But that's not why I'm doing it. Anyway, if somebody, whatever, people do what they want. They do their own thing. Here's the sun salutation, mountain pose, upward salute. You don't have to do this. It's actually Samastiti Hi. Samastiti Hi. This is actually wrong. It's Samastiti. Well, that's not wrong, strictly speaking. Samastiti Hi is with your arms to the sides versus Tadasana. This is not even Tadasana. They got the pose names all wrong again. And good discourse. Yeah. I mean, I hope I don't mean, yeah. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, there's your up. So this is the A. This is not A, this is B. God, people don't know what the fuck they're doing. This is Sun B. No, this is not Sun A, you dumbasses. Oh my God. I can't. Wait, let me think about this for a second. I'm going to give him benefit of the doubt. Come on, Rob. Calm down. All right. I think what they're saying here, this could get very confusing. I think what they're saying is that this is the transition to here. And they didn't say, okay, so that's fair. That's fair. All right. But this could really confuse somebody because that is the exact pose for a Sun B. What they're saying here is, how do you get from here to here? That's what they're saying. So how do you get from here to here? Well, you get from here by stepping one foot back and then stepping the other foot back and then doing this. And that's what but they put the pose for Sun B there, and that's confused me and got me mad. So step back with two hands. Be careful on your wrists here. Make sure you have a mat. If you need something, for people that are heavy in particular, your greatest chance for getting injured here is going to be your wrists. So, and I have problems with wrists too. So sometimes it's nice to put like a rolled up mat or something under your wrist so there's not as intense of an angle. So it's like more like that. And then just go easy. Don't overdo it. You don't want to sprain your wrist or something. And then you go all the way down, keep your arms level, inhale, blah, blah. I'm trying to find you a Sun B though. And then we'll end here. I only have 5 minutes left. So how do you do just a chaturanga? That's not chaturanga. I can't look at this anymore. It's like, this is not chaturanga. This is chaturanga dandasana. Oh, I got it wrong again. Okay, that's standing fold. That makes sense. Okay, fine. This is chaturanga. Okay, I see. I was dumb. Low leg plank chaturanga dandasana right here. Upward dog, which is Adho Mukha, I think. Forget it. I can never remember. It's a big long one. Up dog and down dog. And it looks comfortable. Without touching and relaxing, and it looks comfortable. Nice. And so there's exhale. And then okay, so this is during the inhale. They're showing you, this is not Sun B. They're showing you take a step forward and then another step forward, and you will still be, you know, yeah, and then you like bend over, and then you go back. This is a bad picture though. You can tell they tried to reuse pictures from Sun B. That's what's got me all screwed up. This is better. This is a good Sun A. Right there. Did you guys get this one? This is a good Sun A. But I want to show you Sun B. If you've got a little more strength and you want more of a workout, and rather than just doing push-ups, a Sun B will really get you. Sun Bs will get you. Sun A's are done at the beginning of yoga to raise your heart rate and warm up your body. So they're really good for breaks, as you know, better than push-ups, because they give you a full body workout instead of just push-ups. The one thing yoga does not do, by the way, is build your back. I've noticed that. So like you need pull-ups for that. I usually supplement. I can't do pull-ups now at all. I'm really out of shape. But I used to do 36 when I was doing P90X. I was up to 36 push-ups, pull-ups, but if pull-ups are build your back, and it's really hard to build your back for most of the yoga poses because you're just not moving that way. Sun B, salutations, and 2 minutes left here on this particular video. Sun B, Surya Namaskara B, salute the sun. And by the way, if you can go outside during your 5-minute break and literally take your mat with you and face the sun when you do this, and you can close your eyes and just have the sun being in your face, it is so amazingly restorative. It's doing, particularly if you've got, you know, if you can just do 1 or 2 sun A's or sun B's in facing the sun, it's just amazing. It's really, really fun, actually. And you don't have to like stay out there forever. If you want to go outside and get suntan, and by the way, most of us don't get enough sun. So my generation got terrified from skin cancer, and then we all went in the house and we don't get any vitamin D from the sun anymore. Like most human beings right now are totally vitamin D deficient because they don't get enough sun. And I mean, it takes, you know, 10 or 15 minutes in the sun, like with a large amount of your body exposed, is equivalent to something like a gallon of milk and vitamin D or something. I can't remember what it is, but it's insane. So your body needs the sun. You need the sun to create vitamins. You can't do it without it. So, I mean, there's ways to supplement and stuff, but the easiest way is for you to, that's why we feel so good when we go out into the sun. We get literally flooded with vitamin D when we're in the sun. So make sure you get some time outside. Something I have to do more. So here's Sun B. So the difference with Sun B is that you do this chair pose, Utkatasana. Yeah, of course it is. So Utkatasana, this, you don't stay here very long, right? This is just one breath up, and then you bend over, Uttanasana, and then you breathe up again to do half. Now you put your hands, if you can't do these all the way down, of course, just put your hands put them on a couch or something, or put them on your legs. And then you cycle through. So the difference between this one is okay, so for this one, remember that you step back, you go from here to here, but how? You go from here, and then you just step your legs back one at a time, 1, 2, and now you're flat. And then you lower yourself down to this position. And then they are saying jump back. Don't you dare jump back yet. It's actually really cool when you jump back to do that. It looks really fucking awesome, but we're not ready for that yet. So then you inhale. This feels so good, people. This feels so good. And if you have to keep your toes down instead of curled, that's fine. And then you go back up. You stick your butt up in the air. Again, the most important thing is she's really limber. Don't do this. she's actually she's hyperextending. That's bad for her shoulder. She's hyperextending here. If you have really extreme flexibility, don't use it. You have a different task at hand. Your task is to use your strength and to not hyperextend. You're like, oh yeah, yoga's easy. No, you're doing yoga wrong if you're hyperextending and doing stuff like that, and you'll hurt yourself more than anybody else. If you are not limber and you have a hard time moving, you should be grateful, because if you have hyperflexibility, these are the people that get hurt all the time. They get hurt. The people who don't have enough flexibility, to stretch muscles and stuff. The people who have hyperflexibility, they destroy their joints because they overextend all the time. And it's a major problem. And they think they're doing yoga really awesomely and they're being flexible. They're not. They're not doing it right at all. They're supposed to be supporting the actual pose without overextending with the strength. And the thing they need to build instead of flexibility is strength. Almost all the people who have hyper flexibility do not have basic strength. So they have to build strength, and unfortunately they tend to think that they're the shit because they can do this and they can do all these poses, and they're not. They actually need to build strength, and they need to stop hyperextending. And this is an example of a girl who's hyperextending right here, and she's showing everybody how awesome she is. Well, the truth is that she's doing this pose wrong. This pose should be a straight back all the way down to her hands, but instead she's hyperextending and showing you how cool she is because she can do it with her feet on the ground. You're not going to be able to do that. You should be able to have your legs like sort of bent here, and your heels are going to be off the ground. Doesn't matter. The most important thing here is to create as best you can a straight line from your hip to your hands, and make it that keep your spine in line. It's very hard. Sometimes you have to do it like next to a mirror and look in the mirror and see if you can do it, because sometimes it feels like your back is straight and you haven't really got a sense of it yet. And then you go down. So this is why this is a B. So a B, instead of just going back up, you actually lunge forward one of your legs, and then you raise your arms on an inhale, and you hold warrior one for one breath, and then you go back down to this to plank, and then you come back up and do your thing again. You go back down, and then you do the other one for 2, and then you hold that one, and then you go down again and do this, and then this time when you come up, you hold it for 5 breaths. And then you go back here. This takes me about 4 minutes to do a full one, to do a full Sun B. But the thing about the Sun B is that it hits your thighs, and it hits more of your body parts, and it's a little bit more. This will make you tired. Doing 3 Sun Bs has me panting by the end. Right now, my health is so bad right now. Doing 3 Sun Bs, seriously, like when you get ready to do yoga, I'll do like 5 Sun A's, and Sun A's are pretty much the same thing without this. Sun A's are the same thing without the warrior poses. And so traditional Ashtanga, you do 5, and then you do 5 Sun Bs. And by the end of that, you're sweating. If you're not sweating, like dripping sweat, usually I am. But you can modify that, right? So in this book that I've talked about before, Dave Swenson's book, he modifies it, and he does 3 Sun A's and then 2 Sun B's. But and I'm going to probably start doing 1 Sun A and 1 Sun B during my 5-minute Pomodoro break. So this has been a pretty longer video compared to some of my other ones, but I did want to just at least tell you the things to look up and study to do this. None of these poses have any side to side stretching. And they say, they did in my yoga training, they taught us that it's that the human body needs to move your spine in every direction every day in order to stay healthy. And that means, like these kind of things, the side stretches. It means doing the stretches like this. You got to be careful you never hyperextend. And then of course the forward and the back. Those are not that, all of that stuff is not hit with the Surya Namaskars. The sun salutations do not fully articulate your spine, rotationally and from side to side, which side body stretching is really, people skip that all the time in yoga. It's really important. And but that's, if you want to start a yoga practice, those are the kind of things that you would do during a session, during a day, during the morning or whenever, when you give yourself like 15 minutes. And frankly, that's something you could do during your 15-minute Pomodoro break if you wanted to, because every 4 5-minute breaks. You have a 15-minute break, but you could do that. You could do that before you start your day. It's a really great way to wake yourself up if you want to do yoga in the morning. It's also really great to de-stress. I plan on doing my yoga. I'm going to start walking or running in the morning, and I was going to do yoga in the morning, and I'm going to do my running or walking because I can do that and just put my clothes on, go outside, and not even think about it. And at night, during the sunset at 7 o'clock, I'm going to start doing my yoga at night. Also because my body's more limber at night. Some would say that's why you should do yoga in the morning, but I think I'm gonna try. I just really, really love doing yoga in the sunset. Doing yoga outside with the sun going down or sunset, or doing it in the morning when the sun is rising, there's just nothing like that. It's really amazing. Plus, it's also generally warmer at night for me. So I want to, going outside at 6 a.m. on, right now it's pretty damn cold. But in the morning, and in the evening, it's really relaxing. There's a war memorial that my wife and I used to do yoga at, and I'd skateboard over to it, and we would actually, if you want to get tan, you can do a few sun salutations outside, and it's just glorious. Plus, you're not just laying there, you're actually doing something while you're outside. So this has been a fun little video. I'm going to go ahead and mark it right now. And I'm going to take my own break. I'm going to go do a sun salutation.